Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today we are here to talk about some brand new products from Scott Barnes. So if that is something you're interested in watching, you're in the right place. We're about to get into it.
I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf.
Scott Barnes, you guys. This guy has over 260 music videos to his name, over 450 magazine covers. He has been considered for an Oscar. He's written 2 iconic industry-changing books back in the day. One was called Face to Face and one was called About Face. He's worked with Hollywood royalty. We're talking, obviously, people like Jennifer Lopez. He is most well known for that J-Lo glow, for being Jennifer Lopez kind of go-to makeup artist, but he's also worked with like Beyonce, Gwen Stefani, Penelope Cruz, Uma Thurman, Leah Remini. He's worked with people like Jennifer Love Hewitt, Kelly Rowland. The list literally goes on and on. He has done GQ covers, Vogue covers, Rolling Stone, Time, Harper's Bazaar. The covers that he's done in the magazine world as far as like the makeup, the list is huge. The guy is such a well-known name in the industry. Scott Barnes is like synonymous with makeup artistry. And it's funny because Scott started out in New York City in around 1984, and he came to New York City with the dream of being like a fine arts painter. He attended New York's prestigious Parsons School of Design, but he started assisting on like fashion photo shoots, and that's kind of where he started getting bit by the bug of really being able to hone those talents as a fine art painter and learning how to use that skill on someone's face. He dove headfirst into the makeup industry and really quickly became very in like high demand around those New York circles. And he's no stranger to product. He's infamous for his brushes, his body bling, and this stuff has sold everywhere on QVC, all over Europe. So he is incredibly well established. His powders are one of my favorite products like in the world. His powders are like this miracle powder that's like triple milled. As a matter of fact, I have his pressed powder right here in the color Petal. This you guys have seen before. If you've been here on my channel for any length of time, you've seen me talk about this powder. It is amazing. He really knows what he's talking about, not only when it comes to product production, but he knows what works on people's faces. He knows what's going to stand up in real life. He knows what's going to stand up under heat and humidity and lights and lamps. And when you're outside on the beach and you're doing a swimsuit shoot, you need something that's going to last on the skin for a really long time, no matter what the conditions are. So when this man makes a product, I pay attention because he's really working a product to fruition that he's going to be able to take and use on his photo shoots. And if he's taking it and using it, then I want it. Because that's how you know it's going to work, because you know it's something that he's going to use. So I've always really kind of followed him and watched what products he's created, etc., etc. Having said that, Tati and him have recently partnered up. So we've been seeing a lot of him on Tati's channel. That's how I actually heard about the palette launches that we're going to talk about today. He was on Tati's channel recently, and they were just kind of chatting back and forth about Tati's new palette. And he started talking about these new palettes that he had launched. And I don't know where I've been, but I totally missed that. I have been caught up, I guess, in the channel and work and everything else. I totally missed that Scott Barnes came out with 5 palettes, and I about died. So needless to say, I jumped on it and took a look at the palettes that he had to offer. He's basically got 3 palettes that are for the face. So he's got a highlighter palette, a blush palette, and a contour palette. And then he has 2 eyeshadow palettes. One of those eyeshadow palettes is like really, really bold colors, like bright pinks and blues and purples. And then one of them is a more natural palette. You guys probably guess where we're going with this. I got the more natural palette. So the only palette that I didn't get was the really, really bright, colorful eye palette. But I got all the rest of the palettes that he launched. And you guys, I could not wait to film this video and talk to you guys not only about these palettes, but about the performance and what these palettes feel like. It's just a different level. When you have somebody like Scott Barnes involved in the formulation and the making and testing and really testing these formulas out on people like Gwyneth Paltrow and J-Lo and perfecting these formulations, I could not wait to get my hands on them, and they did not disappoint. All right, you guys, so we are going to dive right in, and we are going to start with something that Scott is kind of known for, and that is his contour. He is really known for being able to sculpt and chisel and change the shape of someone's face. I'm sure a lot of that has to do with his painting, fine art painting background. Whatever it is, his skill set when it comes to contour and sculpting is legendary. Let's take a look at it. So this is the Sculpting and Contour palette by Scott Barnes. So before we dive into all of these different palettes and what they do, I do want to talk about the packaging just a little bit. The main reason I want to talk about this is because they are just kind of plain cardboard type of packaging. And I don't mean that to put down the packaging in any way, shape, or form, but I kind of want to walk you through my evolution as far as my opinion on these particular components. At first, I really was like, really, Scott? Like, you are going to put some very luxe formulations inside of these palettes. Your ingredients are going to be spot on. The performance is going to be bar none. This palette in and of itself is a $58 palette. So I personally kind of expected a component that was going to be a little bit more luxe, I guess you could say. Once I thought about it and I really kind of looked at the website, dug into Scott's background, some things that he's very passionate about, one of those things is sustainability and being economically and eco-friendly and very responsible with those types of decisions. So I get the anti-plastic choices. I get that we're working with recyclable materials. These materials are not going to be around in 150 years. We're not going to see Scott Barnes palettes piled up in a landfill somewhere 100 years from now. So I get that he's working with biodegradables, and I get the choice. So I understand and I respect the choice. I get it. I understand it. I still wish it was a little bit better. But that doesn't take away from the actual product itself. So let's kind of get that out of the way. They are cardboard, and they just have these outside sheaths that just slide off like this. And then you have Scott Barnes on the front. Now, the contour palette, the blush palette, and the highlighter palette are all kind of the same shape. They all have a magnetic closure right here that snaps open and shut. And then when you open up the palette, they all have a pretty decent sized mirror here. It falls all the way back, which is nice. I like ones that you have the choice of either laying flat or holding it like this. So I like that it falls all the way back. And then you have 8 large contour pans, and this is what she looks like. Now, upon first glance, a lot of you may think that some of these colors are not typical bronzy contour type of colors. Some of them are. Some of them you can look at and be like, oh yeah, that makes sense to me. But there are some that have, like, they pull maybe a little pink or a little red. There's a reason for that. When it comes to the way that Scott thinks about contour, he thinks about it the way a makeup artist thinks about it, which is, you know, a lot of these kind of cookie cutter makeup brands out there that are cranking out a lot of this product, when it comes to contour, they tend to focus on Luma, which is a term that it basically means you're prioritizing lightness and darkness, whereas Scott focuses on chroma, which is actually focusing on the color information and how that color reads on film, in real life, on camera, in photographs, when you're looking at somebody, and how that color actually reads on different skin tones. So he's not just looking at lightness and darkness. He's actually looking at the color and the tone. And you can tell that in these shades. These shades are flawlessly designed for every skin tone. You can mix and match. You have a color in here for dark skin tones. You have colors in here for the palest of the pale. There is little to no kickback in any of these pans, but they are incredibly pigmented. So my recommendation would be, if you get one of his contour products, you don't want to go into it like you would a typical bronzer or a typical contour shade that you would get at home. You really don't need a lot. It's like a one touch, dust off, and build that color, because it has such an amazing payoff. It's kind of ridiculous. So again, the sculpting and contour palette is truly a work of art. It is inspired by Scott's fine arts background. Sculpting and contour is the artist's dream. These incredible colors are carefully positioned for mixing new combination. It does give the artist extreme flexibility to be able to shape and feather even the strongest color contours into a very seamlessly silky type of a blend. Scott has a really strong understanding of all skin types and all shades, so he's really crafted a contour palette that is kind of just a different level than any other contour palette you're probably going to work with. It has, again, extremely minimal fallout. There's little to no kickback on the brush. It has a really high color payoff, and the blendability is second to none. It really gives you the ability to be really super surgical if you want those kind of really cracked and cut shapes on the face, but it also can just blow out and blend out to very soft, feathery types of contour as well, because the blendability of these formulas are amazing. They melt into the skin because so little is needed to actually do the work. It just melts into the skin like you don't have anything on. And another thing I noticed about this is the longevity. It actually will last you all day. You won't look in the mirror halfway through your work day and be like, oh, my blush and my contour are all gone. The only thing I have left is like my foundation on my face. This is not that product. This product will sit on your face until you take it off. I think the best, my most favorite feature about this particular palette is the blendability. When you're working with anything warming up the face or shaping the face, it's really important how it blends into the skin and what a seamless blend you can get with it, and how easy or difficult that is, can be frustrating sometimes. Some contours you kind of have to blend to actually get it to look like an actual shadow. Even like your nose contour, how many of us have overdone that sometimes, and we just can't get it to blend out? This formula isn't like that. It genuinely blends itself. Let me show you guys application of the contour palette here. I'll just show you a quick application of just putting it on just so you can kind of see what I'm talking about as far as the blendability. So again, this is the perfect palette to contour your cheeks. It's basically multi-use for the entire face. You have 8 different shades in here. Again, the names of these shades are chiseled, carved, diced, sliced, snatch, and hashtag shade. So they all have individual names as well. And because each one of these individual shades is like, if I'm not mistaken, I think the total weight of all of these is like 24 grams. Which means that each one of these are about 3 grams a piece, which is an enormous amount of product. So I love the fact that you have these big giant pans. This palette is going to last you forever. You're going to be able to mix and match no matter what time of year it is, whether your skin is pale, whether you have a tan, whether you want to work on a friend. This is going to be your go-to bronzer contour palette for whatever your needs are. It's a one and done type deal, and you are going to be good to go, and it's going to last you forever. The quality is superb, bar none, hands down, the best powder contour palette that I've worked with. And that's saying a lot. There are a lot of contour palettes out there, but none of them done quite this way, you guys. This is just something that you're going to have to experience for yourself. It is truly phenomenal. Next up, we're going to talk about his blush palette. This is called Cheek Chic. We've already talked about the component, so we're going to blow through that because this is basically the same component. This one has Scott's name in pink on the front of it, which I love because, after all, it is a blush palette. You open it up. Again, you have the full-size mirror, and they all have these really cute little sayings on them. This one says, "My colors are blush and bashful." The contour palette says, "Snatch that face." So they all have these really cute little uplifting kind of sayings on the mirror, which I like because, you know, when you're looking in the mirror, it's nice to get kind of a little pick-me-up. All right, so the blush palette has 6 of these full-size blushers in here. So you have 6 full-size blushers here. You've got these 6 right here. And then here you have 2 what he calls amplifiers. And they're basically kind of like highlighters that are going to really kind of amp up your blush look. So what I like about this design is you're getting 6 full-size blushes in here, and if you don't want to just buy the highlighter palette that he has produced, you get at least one of his amazing highlighters in this palette. We actually get 2. You get this one and this one, but this one's my favorite. But you also get this one as well, which is gorgeous for dark skin tones, and even if you are more of a lighter skin tone, this is beautiful as a blush topper. So either way, you have a lot of versatility out of this particular palette, but I do want to show it to you guys up close so you can really see what these colors look like. So again, you have 6 refined and sophisticated color choices here next to 2 gorgeous amplifiers. Blush, honestly, in this palette has never looked so vibrant. He specifically designed this to paint color throughout the face, not exclusively to the cheeks. It is multi-use so that you can, you know, use these colors however you want to, but obviously they really are meant to put some color onto the cheeks and bring some color back to the face. He really stuck with colors here that are going to give you a really pretty youthful glow. Again, minimal fallout and kickback on the brush. You have a very high color payoff and same blendability when it comes to this formula. The blendability is amazing. Now, this is not going to be like, again, like any other kind of blush where you really have to kind of get in there. This is, again, a like 1-2, tap it off, and then go in and put some color on your cheeks. It has a very high color payoff, which means this is going to last you forever. But honestly, you guys, some of these colors in here, you would be surprised when you kind of mix and match some of these colors. Like, I have become a big fan of mixing this color, which is kind of a peachy tone, but I'll tap a little bit of this kind of, it looks yellow or kind of orangey in the pan, but what this color does is it warms up your blush. So if you have a little bit more of a sun-kissed kind of look going on, you can tap a little bit of this and then just do one hit of that, and it just brings some warmth into your face. It doesn't read like you're putting on like an orange or yellow blush. You see what I'm saying? This is really a good kind of warming up mixer, if you will. I really love using that this way, but all of his palettes are that way. You can mix and match and customize whatever your favorite color is going to be. I love the Strike a Rose, which is this one right here. Stunning, stunning, stunning blush. Some of these have a little bit of a slight glow to them. Some of them read really, really matte. This really pretty rose down here is so dainty and perfect and pretty on the cheeks. It's absolutely stunning. These colors are gorgeous. These amplifiers are amazing. Now, this is what he calls glowy and showy. So this one is glowy, this one is showy. And then, of course, you have all of these through here. You have Minimalist, Mango Fizz, Strike a Pose, Sweet Cheeks Rose, and Crush and Blush. So they all have super cute names. I love them. I will show you guys the application here, and you'll see what I mean about color payoff. You just need a little bit. So if I'm not mistaken, I think you guys will actually see Minimalist here with a little bit of Mango Fizz. You just put it on, and again, it just brings this beautiful color to the cheeks. I absolutely love it. And then again, if you want to really get in there with glowy or showy, you can kind of dust those on and get a little bit of a highlight going. It is amazing, and this is going to last you forever because, again, you're dealing with these huge pan sizes. So same price. This one is $58, just like the contour palette. So well worth the spend. You get 6 blushes, 2 of the highlighters, and that is the Chic Cheek palette. Absolutely love it. Stunning, stunning product. All right, you guys, now we're moving on to something super, super special, and that is Scott Barnes' highlighter formula. I didn't really want to dive into it in the blush palette because I wanted the blushers to kind of have their own moment. But when it comes to Scott Barnes and his highlight, keep in mind, this man is famous for that J-Lo glow. Oh my gosh, you guys, I just realized I didn't have my mic plugged in like that whole time, so I'm sorry. I'm glad it's plugged in now, though, before we go into this highlighter formula. Okay, so as I was saying, keep in mind that Scott Barnes is known for the J-Lo glow. He is known for the way he makes skin glow. The highlighter formula that Scott Barnes has crafted, he has really taken his time with the pigments that he has used in this highlighter formula, and I'm just going to show it to you. This one is $68. It's $10 more than the other palettes. A lot of it has to do with the formula and the cost of the ingredients when it comes to these highlighters. Let me go ahead and show you the palette. It has this really cool kind of holographic cover, and his name is on this one just like the other ones, except it's this really kind of cool holographic name here. Same layout, magnetic clasp, and then this says, "Look lit from within," on the mirror. That's the cute saying in this. And then this is the highlighters that are in this palette. And these lights just aren't doing it any kind of justice at all. But you guys, the glow that you get from his highlighters it's something very different. It's not a typical highlighter type of glow. So one thing that's super special about this highlighter palette is that Scott has specifically chosen hues in here that have to do with yellow and pink kind of undertone and hues. And there's a reason for that. A lot of times palettes ignore the natural yellow and pink tones that people have in their skin. Whether you have lighter skin or darker skin, we all kind of have those undertones and those hues to our skin. Oftentimes you'll see highlighter palettes that are picked, they're kind of used with really more muted undertones. A lot of times they'll just completely ignore the yellow and the pink tones of people's actual skin, and you get random colors, or you get these weird muted colors when it comes to highlighters, or you get a lot of glitter and sparkle, and it's not really a glow that's very natural. So by using those muted or random color options, typically it'll limit the artist to like 1 or 2 kind of shifts to the skin. But by him creating this highlighter palette with a very deep understanding of yellow and pink hues and what that actually means when it comes to translation to the skin, he basically has given you a much more diverse amount of options when it comes to correctly shifting the color of your skin and being able to customize that glow so that it looks completely natural and it doesn't look artificial. That's the best way I can think of to explain it. These, regardless of what your skin tone is, in this highlighter palette, you're going to be able to find a glow that just looks like your skin is glowing on you. You can even mix and match. You can amp it up. You can layer it. You can really kind of pump it up so that your cheeks look wet and icy and cut like diamonds, or you can just buff it on and get a more natural glow that completely matches your skin tone, so that even in like the mirror of truth that we all call the visor in the car, you know how you flip the visor down in the car and you look at yourself outside in the real light and you go, oh my gosh, that's like the visor of truth. Even in the visor of truth, you will be able to find a highlighter that makes your skin just look like it's glowy and healthy. So the Scott Barnes Glowy and Showy Highlighter Palette is the ultimate highlighter palette, you guys. Carefully crafted pigments designed by Scott mixed together so you can create your perfect highlighter tone without overdoing any one color. This completely puts you in control of your highlights with specifically chosen hues of yellow and pink. Scott's highlighter palette is born from a deep understanding of yellow and pink, giving you a more diverse options to hue shift your own skin to the exact color that you need. Glowy and Showy gives you ultimate highlighter control with extremely minimal fallout and kickback on the brush, a high color payoff, great blendability. This genuinely is a masterfully crafted and extremely considerate highlighter palette. The formulas produce the most luxurious sheens and pigments with a sophistication that is honestly rarely seen in highlighter palettes nowadays. You guys, if you get anything in this collection, I would recommend the highlighter formula or the blush palette with the highlighter formula included. This is the one thing you will not be disappointed in. I haven't stopped wearing it. I always keep my highlight up here because I don't like it on the apples of my cheeks. This is the only formula that I will actually bring down and put like around here onto the apples of my cheeks because I love the way it makes my skin just look really healthy, not like I have highlighter slapped on my face. I love this formula. I could go on and on about this for another 2 hours, but we have another palette to go through, so I'm going to move on. All right, you guys, now on to the eyeshadow palette. Now, I got Snatchural, which is the natural color-themed eyeshadow palette. Now, this eyeshadow palette is something that he promises to be incredibly special. Basically, when you look at other natural palettes out there, the color story is kind of unpredictable on what you're going to get and what other people consider to be natural colors. Scott really looked at this palette as he really wanted to get some good, genuinely natural colors for people from light all the way to dark skin tone. And after like extensive field research, he's been working on this eyeshadow palette, he says, forever, and the formula forever, that he finally came up with what he considers to be natural colors for all skin tones from light to dark, with a little bit of kind of a glamorous undertone to them. So this is Snatchural Volume 1. This is what she looks like on the outside. And then, of course, you slide her out. Again, you've got Scott on here. You don't have that magnetic closure on this one. This one just opens up like a book. You do have a little saying that says, be the most beautiful version of yourself. Bigger mirror in this particular eyeshadow palette. And then, oh my gosh, you guys, here she is. And she is stunning. Not only are the colors and the color story in this particular palette incredibly versatile and amazing for everyday use, but the formula is stunning. I actually have it on my eyes tonight. These shimmer shades down here, especially this one, which is called Silver Screen, you guys, I can't even tell you guys, look at that. They're just, what can I say? It's a perfect formula. The blendability is spot on. It's just amazing. I'll give you guys a close-up of it here. So this Natural eyeshadow palette, again, is a combination of natural colors. Now this is going to be his take on natural tones with kind of an elevated, glamorous, luxurious effect to a lot of these colors. He has spent a lot of time developing this color range carefully so that artists have the best user experience for all skin types, light to dark. He considers this the ultimate natural palette after extensive field use and development. A lot of times natural tone palettes possess kind of an unpredictable color range, but this color range really doubles down on colorful warmth with a luxurious sheen to a lot of these pans in here. It's really a one-of-a-kind natural makeup palette. It has, again, extremely minimal fallout, extremely minimal kickback on the brush, very high color payoff, and again, the key here is that it's blending friendly. It really is going to be a go-to for beginners and professional enthusiasts and everybody in between. The formulas are some of the best available, developed for a luxurious vibrancy that really is rarely experienced in kind of an online shop type of a palette. Now, keep in mind that this palette does retail for $84, so you are paying for that formula. Having said that, you also get 20 shades in here. So not only are you getting a really high quality formula in this palette, but you're also getting 20 pans of that formula. One thing I do want to do is show you guys swatches and application. So I'm going to put those two together here. I am going to show you swatches by finish because I want you to see the breakup between mattes and colors in here that have a little bit of sheen to them so that you can see what the balance is between the two. And we'll get into the swatches and into application here. All right, guys, so we are going to look at the matte colors first, and you have all the mattes here. Gorgeous natural color selection. Brighten the lighting up a little bit, but the cream color that's all the way on the left, one of my favorite colors in this palette. I love all of these different shades of brown, the rusty colors in here, and this is one of the most blending friendly matte formulas that I've ever worked with. It's not so opaque that you feel like you've made a mess as soon as you touch the brush to your eyes, but it has just enough color payoff that you see it. It blends beautifully. They don't all muddy up together and look like a big mess on your eye. They keep their color very, very well. Beautiful matte shades. Here are the shimmer shades, and these are a little different in that the first 5 are really pretty going left to right. The first 5, so starting with that light pink shade, the first 5 are just a really kind of basic, beautiful shimmer shade. The last 4 are like kicked up a notch. They have this micro shimmer in them that is just so stunning that it's incredible. And I'll actually pull the focus back a little bit, because if you see them out of focus, you'll actually get to see all of the really pretty iridescent micro glitters, especially in these last 2, that are just amazing, and they catch the light and they look so beautiful on the eye. Just absolutely stunning. This gold one here actually has like gold micro shimmers in it. Just catches the light beautifully, looks amazing on darker skin, that gold. Oh my goodness. But love the shimmer shades in here that have kind of that micro shimmer in it. So you have a lot of different types of textures in this palette. These shimmer shades, the ones that have the micro glitter in them, the matte, you have all, it's just a great all-in-one palette because there's so much variety. Now, when it comes to application with this stuff, I did want to show you guys the look that I actually have on in the video tonight. So it's going to be just a very simple blown out brown with a little bit of shimmer on the lid. And I just want to show you guys how easy this stuff blends out. This is that cream color I was telling you about. I love that cream color because it really does kind of blank out veins and things like that on the lid. Put a lighter brown in here as a transition shade, and then went in with just a little bit of a shade darker than that. And, you know, as you can see, it just blends beautifully. And the color itself really holds on to its constitution. So it doesn't like just turn, you know, it doesn't just spread out to a big kind of glob. It really does look very pretty. And then as we go into kind of a little bit of a darker shade in the outer V, I didn't want to go into the dark shades, so it's kind of like a medium brown, just to give it a little bit of added depth and dimension, putting some finishing touches on, just blending the edges, and Bob's your uncle, it's done. It's just a very simple, easy blend. And then the last thing that I did was I love that blend. I just think these colors blend themselves. They're so pretty. And then, okay, so shimmer. No, we're not going to shimmer. We're going to lining the eyes. All right, so I just took one of the darker browns that I used in the outer V, and then I just blended it out underneath the eyes. And then I actually went in with one of the transition shades and added that to it just to blow it out underneath that lower lash line just a little bit more. And you'll see that here. And that just helps kind of blow it out just a little bit. It helps it to transition and give it a little bit of a gradient. All right, now on to the shimmer shades. I love these shimmer shades. They have a lot of longevity. They actually stay on the lid for quite a long time. And a lot of shimmer shades won't apply with an applicator. You kind of have to use your finger and really rub them on there to get a pretty shimmer payoff. But with these, the applicator works just fine, which I love because of my nails. So I love the fact that I can actually use an applicator with these, and they look super, super good. Pop a highlight on the inner corner and we're good to go. Now I forgot to shoot like the finishing look kind of thing, so I'll just give you guys some slow-mo video here so that you can actually see what it looks like. And keep in mind, this is actually like about 8 hours later. All right, you guys, so that is it. That is the Scott Barnes palette collection. You know, at the end of the day, this is everything that I would expect from a globally renowned makeup artist. I honestly wouldn't expect anything less. It is, you know, I always compare it to people like Lisa Eldridge. I compare him to people like Pat McGrath and legends in the industry that are producing their own cosmetics. Even when I compare a lot of these formulas up against, say, like a Pat McGrath, I really feel like these formulas are far more superior. Number one, because he's made these formulas and all of these colors very very everyday, every person friendly. You're not getting these weird color combinations that nobody understands or understands how to work with. These are not only going to be something that makeup artists can keep in their kits and reach for and will be complementary to every skin tone, but they're all also very beginner friendly palettes as well. And I think sometimes for really well-renowned makeup artists, it's hard sometimes for them to bring their talent down to that everyday consumer beginner friendly level. I think sometimes it's hard for them to do that. So I think a lot of times their palettes and their products don't really translate to like the everyday type of person. And I really can think of Pat McGrath palettes when I think of that. I know a lot of people that look at a Pat McGrath palette and say, those shades just don't make sense to me. I wouldn't wear that every day. And why would I spend over $150 on something that I'm not going to wear every day? So, you know what I'm saying? And I really feel like Scott did an amazing job at not only giving us the best of the best when it comes to formulation and really giving us great high quality luxury products, but he did it in a way that just the normal everyday person can look at these products and say, that makes sense to me. That's something I can wear. That's something I can actually get my money's worth out of as far as usage is concerned. And it's not just going to sit up on my vanity as like a pretty vanity decoration. So I love that about this collection. I love that he made this collection for the people, and I think it's going to make a lot of sense for the people, and I think you guys are going to really enjoy it. Let me know if you guys plan on picking up any of the pieces. I know a lot of them are really pricey. His site does accept Afterpay, so you can like get a palette and just pay like the little $14 installments on it if you have Afterpay. It's like $14 like 4 times, I think, and then you're done. So sometimes Afterpay is a good option when it comes to products like this that I really feel like you guys would really enjoy if you could get your hands on them. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Do you think they're way too expensive and you still can't afford to get them? What do you think as far as the layout, the color choices, his reasoning behind it? Are you guys on board? What do you guys think about the entire collection? I am so curious to hear what you guys think down in the comment section below. So let's get a conversation going down there. If you are new here, welcome. I'm so glad that you came by. Make sure you hit the subscribe button before you leave. And if you're not following me on Instagram, make sure you hop over to @EricaApproved on Instagram and give me a follow over there because we have a lot of fun over on the gram. So make sure you join us over there. And I think that's it, you guys. Listen, as always, I hope all of you guys are all very, very happy and very, very healthy. And I will see you guys in the next video. Mwah.